Pasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna everyone. Today I will continue reading chapter 9 of Prabupada Lilamrita. As the froth on the seawater mixes again in the sea, Maya Samsara's play is just like that. No one is mother or father or personal relative. Just like the sea foam, they remain but a short time. Just as the froth on seawater mixes again in the sea, the body made of five elements meets with destruction. How many bodies does the embodied soul take in this way? His relatives are all related merely to the temporal body. But everyone is your relative brother on the spiritual platform. This relationship is not tinged with the smell of Maya. The Supreme Lord is the soul of everyone. The relation to Him, everyone in the universe is the same. All your relatives, brother, all the billions of jivas, when seen in relation to Krishna, they are all in harmony. Forgetting Krishna, the jiva desires sense gratification, and as a result, he is firmly grasped by Maya. On an October visit to Delhi, Abhay received a donation from Kaviraj Baidyanath Sarkar to be used for printing 1000 copies of Back to Godhead. Abhay promptly produced an October 20 issue of Back to Godhead with the donor's name on the front page. It was the first issue in 2 years. Another donor, Mr. Subodh Kumar Kapoor of Ramlal Kapoor and Sons, followed by Mr. Sarkar's example, and donated 1000 copies for the November 20 issue. The front page article in the November issue was Truth and Beauty, an editorial in the Times of India speculating on whether truth and beauty were incompatible. Had opined the truth was not always beautiful but often ugly and unpleasant. Abhay disagreed. Truth is so beautiful that many sages, saints, and devotees have left everything for the sake of truth. But we are habituated to love untruth from time immemorial in the name of truth. Abhay agreed, however, that mundane truth and beauty were incompatible. Not only was mundane truth not beautiful, it was not truth. The mundane beauty was not real beauty. To explain, Abhay told a story. Once a man fell in love with a beautiful girl who tried to resist the man's advances. When he persisted, she requested that he wait for 7 days, after which she would accept him. During the next 7 days, the girl took a strong purgative and laxative and repeatedly passed stool and omitted. She stored the refuse in buckets. The so-called beautiful girl became lean, thin like a skeleton, and turned blackish in complexion, and the beautiful eyeballs were pushed into the sockets of the skull. The man appeared on the scene well dressed and well behaved and asked the waiting girl, who was depressed in appearance, about the beautiful girl who called him there. The man could not recognize the waiting girl as the same beautiful girl whom he was asking for. The same girl, however, was in a pitiable condition, and the foolish man, in spite of repeated assertion, could not recognize her. It was all due to the action of medicine only. At last, the girl told the powerful man all the story of her beauty and told him that she had separated the ingredients of her beauty and stored them up in the reservoirs. She also told him that she could enjoy the juices of beauty stored up in the reservoirs. The mundane, poetic, and the lunatic man agreed to see the juices of beauty, and thus he was directed to the store of loose stool and liquid vomit, which were emanating unbearable bad smell, and thus the whole story of beauty liquid was disclosed to him. Abhay went on to assert that literature which did not describe the ultimate truth and beauty of the Supreme Person was no better than stool and omit, even though it is presented as poetry and philosophy. In standard morality, Abhay explained, morality is the standard of activity by which the supreme authority is satisfied. The scriptures contain moral codes prohibiting unholy sex relations, animal slaughter, intoxication, and gambling. Abhay attributed Mahatma Gandhi's success as a public leader to his observance of these moral principles. Abhay also praised the Vedic system of marriage. After the attainment of puberty, one woman wants a male, and if she is not married within that time and allowed to mix up with boys, it is quite natural that it is every chance of fall down either by the boy or the girl. Despite changing social conditions, Abhay argued one cannot indulge in unholy connection with the opposite sex just because the social conditions have changed. Because unholy connection with the woman is the beginning of all immorality. In Scholars Deluded, Abhay presented a critical review of Dr. Radhakrishnan's edition of Bhagavad Gita, citing specifically the 34th verse of the ninth chapter, wherein Lord Krishna declares that one should always think of him and become his devotee. Dr. Radhakrishnan had commented, "It is not a personal Krishna to whom we have to give ourselves up utterly, but the unborn, beginningless, eternal who speaks through Krishna." Although obvious meaning of Bhagavad Gita was that one should surrender to Krishna, the supreme person, impersonalists like Dr. Radhakrishnan obscured the direct meaning with their word jugglery. On the disappearance day of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, Abhay keenly felt separation from his spiritual master. He perfectly understood that Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's instructions were more important than his physical presence, and that, in fact, the spiritual master was present within his instructions. In this way, Abhay had always been with his spiritual master. Yet, on his annual day, Abhay could not help feeling lost. He remembered how in 1932 he had been a Grahastha and a new disciple. At that time, he had not been free to do so as much service as now. Yet, it had been in those years that he had been able to see his spiritual master, offer obeisances before him, eat the remnants of his prasadam, walk beside him, hear his voice, receive his personal glance. Abhay thought of their meetings together. How powerful had been Srila Bhaktisiddhanta's mission. His presses had been running day and night, printing magazines, books, the daily Nadia Prakasha. The Europe had been a promising new preaching field, with Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakura at the helm, and Gaudiya Math had entered into battle against Maya's forces, and Srila Bhaktisiddhanta had made all his disciples unafraid. Abhay had always been eager to serve his spiritual master, to serve within the Gaudiya Math with its headquarters in Calcutta. But exactly how he would serve, he had never been clear to him until his last letter from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati. I'll stop here. So, my realization from today's reading is Maya Samsara is temporary, just like the froth on the ocean appear and disappear. Real relationship is with Krishna, which is eternal. Truth is always beautiful, and sages and devotees left everything for the sake of the truth. And one should always think of God Krishna and become his devotee and should surrender to Krishna.